with Dr. Kiran Bedi, the former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry and, of course, a senior IPS officer herself. Dr. Kiran Bedi, thanks for being with us. Ma'am, I just wanted your comments first on the case in Delhi and the police lapses, which seem to be quite glaring now. The fact that this car was driving around for an hour or so for about 12 kilometers with a body under it in places which should have had police vans stationed there. What does that tell you about the police's conduct?
I think I do have reasons to believe, as I'm informed, that the PCR system, which existed earlier, and I think you are all aware of it, the kind of PCR systems we had, hundreds of vehicles at reasonable corners, spaced, test checked all the time, extended even on motorcycles to handle traffic jams, as PCR control room vans, PCR motorcycles, as a system. And it was nourished and nurtured over the years by various police commissioners over the years. At some stage, I do not know why was the system discontinued or dismantled. And I have reasons to believe, as I've been informed, that these vans were returned to police stations, actually given over to police stations as a policy to strengthen their infrastructure and manpower. Instead of they say thinking idling around in PCR van, police stations were in need of manpower. So PCR vans were handed over to police stations to strengthen their vehicle and manpower infrastructure. And I think it boomeranged. It boomeranged. Though I know manpower is arriving in February in Delhi police after passing out parade of large thousands of policemen under training. So that's where the force will be replenished. But meanwhile, what happened during these months? We lost out on response time. A very well-established PCR van, which was also being monitored by police control room, DCP, centralized, looking at their training, their mobility, and response times, reflexes, lots of things. A lot of investment was made into PCR vans. And also, we were also choosing a little more experienced policemen to be positioned in the PCR vans. I think that dismantling has probably cost this.
But would you agree that there needs to be accountability in the police force for these lapses that night? It's absolutely horrific what has happened.
So the accountabilities of if this is the policy of a headquarter, then whoever in the headquarter decided this, only the file and inquiry, I believe inquiries on, will know under what circumstances and compulsions was this situation reviewed or changed? Why was it altered? I think that alone will be the accountable situation, to my mind. Though the intention may not be in doubt,
right,
Nidhi, but I think it was in the best interest at that time by that individual team or person, senior officer in the police headquarters thought so.
But coming back to the bigger question here, which is that you have this crime in Delhi that is making national headlines, and you have this crime in Bangalore also, where a young woman gets stabbed in her college campus in front of everybody in what is supposed to be India's tech capital. What does this say about safe spaces for women in some of our most cosmopolitan cities? We're not safe anywhere. We don't feel safe.
The point is the kind of growth we are having, the kind of educated youth, the kind of youth, educated or literate only. What kind of youth? What kind of people are we producing? And we are heading for a demographic dividend of the youth. India is the largest youth country. But what kind of majority youth? I think I have seen, Nidhi, in myself, around, where mothers are mortally scared of this growing up sons. And they feel कि अगर इसको मना कर दिया कि पीकर मत आओ और घर में दरवाजा बंद कर दिया, वो कहेगा मैं जा रहा हूं. Mothers are scared of their young sons. Many homes, parents are afraid of their sons for abandoning them if they discipline them. So I think you are giving a very large bulge of youth which has no morals, very unethical, no respect for law, and probably no parental control. And I don't know whether teachers exercise any control either. So where are they learning from? I think they're learning from everywhere and totally gone into a misbehavior, very loose morals. So you have a very large constituency of now youth, energetic, demanding everything on rights, no responsibility. I think you are having a very large section of irresponsible youth growing up in this country, and I think we are in for a very big challenge. Maybe you might need youth police. You just had tourist police now. you now start asking for youth police.
But can
to
I
handle
ask
the
you
youth.
one last question, ma'am? You know, it has been I mean, so many years now since the Nirbhaya case back in, I think it was 2012 now. We're talking, you know, more than 10 years later, right? And here we are still talking about women in the national capital not feeling safe. And this has just happened a few days ago. Is it just going to take a few more PCR vans to create an enabling environment? Is there anything else you would suggest that the police need to do?
Well, PCR vans are both prevention and reaction. And you need prevention. Their presence is prevention, but they also respond, so they are also responding. So they have their own But secondly, I think the roads, the metropolitan roads now need to come under a very centralized technology watch. And that's where traffic police and crime policing should work together, because roads are similar. One is on reckless driving, the other is on unsafe. I think we need to use technology and artificial intelligence a little more, because how much manpower will you keep pumping on the roads? Though we need presence of men, we need vehicle infra. But I think we need technological solutions, and India must find these kinds of, that's the way the Western world is. And even the faces are getting identified with the criminal records. So we need to use technology of the highest order now to police metropolitan cities of these kinds.
All right, Dr. Kiran Bedi, thanks very much for your insights on those big stories that are making headlines.